Hey, I am at the Salt Lake City FBI building, Govey Wovey here. You might be familiar with my other account that's been shadow banned for about a year, like a lot of parents. I am out here holding a sign up that says Robert Bowles won't call me back, and that's my phone number. And that is because Robert Bowles is the new special agent in charge of the regional FBI office that is headquartered here at this 170,000 square foot building in Salt Lake City, Utah, just west of the Salt Lake International Airport. I came out again because 2 years ago I came out, man, like a dozen times when Shohini Sinha was the special agent in charge, trying to get someone to just talk and take a report from me, but they wouldn't. And I learned in January of 2025 that Shohini was replaced by Mahtab Saeed, and I learned just a couple days ago that about 5 days ago Mahtab Saeed was replaced by Robert Bowles. I am trying to report child trafficking happening through local courthouses, police departments, jails. Watch that California roll right through the stop sign in front of a semi. And it's interesting because there's this entrance, and then there is another entrance exit on the other corner of the building. And no matter where I'm at, they will roll through stop signs and quickly speed off. It's as if they're afraid that someone might think that they were watching. Let's see, there you go. So it's a bummer. It's not their fault. The system is just so broken. And, you know, like I try to say, everyone is just caught in this broken system doing broken things. And so that's why when you call to report this stuff, nothing happens. And you come out and you try to leave a report, you'll encounter a private security guard at the booth behind me there. Literally, it's not FBI, it's a private security company, just like wherever. And they'll tell you they can't take a report, no matter how many hours you spent putting it together. And they'll tell you to call the 1-800 number, and then that won't lead to anything. And then stuff just keeps happening. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So anyway, learning that, hey, there's a new special agent in charge for the western region of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I thought, shucks, I better get my broken tooth out here and try to say, hey, Robert, give me a call. There is proof that there is a private association, private corporation, whatever you want to call it, that over the past 40 years has gained control of hundreds of local courthouses, police departments, jails, and state-sponsored offices. And as part of that control, they have been able to deceptively groom others into these roles generation after generation. And that's why it is so easy for them. You'll find if you really have conversations with them, a lot of them really they've been intentionally mistaught about so much, and it's a bummer. But that is a sign of the grooming that happens. And then the same can be said about attorneys, guardian ad litems, psychologists, the judges, commissioners, and all that. Here in Utah, about 12 years ago, the corrupt layers created 10 state offices to pose as judges, created 10 state offices to pose as judges as part of this. And they do that to target a federal subsidy that's worth billions of dollars. It's called Title IVE. It was created in the 80s and then adjusted again in 97 by I call them imposters, by imposters in Congress and everywhere. And a lot of people don't like that word imposter, but I really don't know what other word to use in a constructive way. That's the best word for now. That Title IVE money is $5.83 billion right now, and all the imposters need to do is put a child's name on a list and give it to the state, and then they can get hundreds of thousands of dollars per name. And so because of that, this association has been able to exploit it. And unfortunately, even with massive facilities like this, the well-intending or the once well-intending people inside, whatever they are too insulated, too disillusioned, misinformed, selectively informed, mistaught, whatever you want to call it, to even fathom that it could happen. Yet every day in the news we see stories about corrupt cops murdering people in what is called swatting. The suicide numbers are through the roof. A lot of those suicides are parents, children, tens of thousands of children, American children missing from foster care. And a lot of that is because the corrupt people who are doing this are unlawfully making children and parents absentee from each other. They're putting the children's names on the list. They're leaving the children to the darker layers of child trafficking. And then they're eliminating the parents one by one with forgeries, unlawful imprisonment, swatting, and other rough stuff. The truth to it is that, when you know the truth, it will shake you to the core and change you forever for how heinous it is. It's so satanic, doesn't even begin to describe it. Evil doesn't even begin to describe it. It's worse than that. After I spent nearly a month and a half going to every day of the Utah State Legislative Session for 2025, being ignored. So I just continued to do this in the hopes that someone will look into this hidden list of 12,000 to 14,000 children's names on it, and that by looking at just a sample of that list, even 100 of those names, they will find indisputable proof of all this happening. As a targeted parent was targeted because I survived and because my two daughters were targeted, and I really just want to scream and yell and cry and everything else, but that's not happening. So I also came out here alone again because this is just a way to extend an olive branch, because next steps are that eventually we have hundreds of people here, and then instigators show up and try to instigate things, and then rough stuff happens, and then the whole cause gets hidden. And we know that a lot of that stuff happens intentionally as a way to hide the true message. And that is simply that corruption is real. It's more real than we could ever imagine. And with everything that's been done to stop forgeries in so many industries for the past 25 years, they forgot about courthouses. And so thousands of corrupt judges and attorneys and everyone have used that for their own gain. So hopefully Robert Bowles or Bongino or someone will want to call and say, you know what, if there's 12,000 names on a list in Utah, that probably means there's 500,000 names on lists all across the country. And then that's just for this year. And that if you add up 40 years, that adds up. We'll keep it going.